And the thing that I really appreciate about Tank is he's a dog. That kind of what he just said, you can put them earmuffs up and go at it. He kind of will assess you as well and whatever he needs.
Jake Paul has responded to the new viral sparring and training footage of Gervonta "Tank" Davis that recently swept across social media, and his reaction has everyone talking. The clip shows Davis looking sharper, faster, and more explosive than ever as he prepares for his upcoming fight, leaving fans wondering whether Tank is entering the strongest phase of his career. Davis built his legacy in the lighter weight divisions. He has competed around 133 to 135 pounds, and has never officially gone above 140 pounds in professional competition. Meanwhile, Paul is a natural cruiserweight, typically fighting near the 200 pounds mark, and he has recently weighed in at that range in his bouts. This isn't just a small gap, it's several full weight classes. When the difference is that wide, many factors shift. The bigger fighter usually has advantages in durability, power, punch resistance, and physical strength. At that point, it becomes less about skill alone and more about who can take punishment and remain effective.
Something else that's unfortunate is the idea that Jake Paul might actually fight Gervonta "Tank" Davis. This camp, up a couple of months ago, I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna cover this because there's no way they're really gonna do that, because it makes no sense. Why would you do that for him? Outside of it, like, okay, you can look at it like an exhibition, which it will be, and we'll take a look at some of the rule set for it. But Gervonta Davis is one of a prime fighter. I don't want to hear the similar to Floyd and Logan thing, because at that point, Floyd was retired. Floyd had done all he needed to do in the sport. Tank is still in his prime, still has multiple high-level opponents that he needs to fight. And you can say, oh, you know, the Jake would be a one-off. Side quest. That's fine, but that just tells me that Tank doesn't care about being a high-level champion in the sport anymore.
Carmel Moton recently reflected on a sparring session he had with Davis when he was just 15 or 16 years old. He admitted he was nervous at first, but said the session quickly turned into a chess match. It wasn't all raw power, it was timing, speed, and counters. Moton explained that Davis didn't try to knock him out. Instead, they traded angles and rhythm in a tactical battle. He noted that Tank's strength was real, but in terms of pure skill and quickness, they were exchanging evenly. Moton called the experience fun, challenging, and a key moment in his growth as a young fighter.
What was it like when you sparred him? I know you sparred Tank early on.
Yeah.
What was that experience like? Like, replay that experience for me. Like, you coming out of it, what was your thought?
Yeah, I was nervous at first. I think I was 15 at the time we sparred, so he wasn't really like trying to knock me out or nothing like that. But we was going like, he was using the speed on me. Like, we was both like going speed for speed, and it was great. It was like a chess match.
Did you understand in that moment like why he is who he is?
Yeah, I seen why he's able to beat these guys. Then I also seen why I'm so like I got all this hype.
Sean Porter defended Davis's decision to accept an exhibition against Jake Paul, arguing that critics are missing the point. According to Porter, the fight isn't only about proving greatness, it's about securing financial security for Davis and his family. Because it's an exhibition, agreed-upon rules and safety conditions reduce the risk, and the focus becomes entertainment. Porter stressed that fighters have short careers and must seize opportunities that provide both visibility and financial benefit. In his view, Tank taking the fight isn't selling out, it's protecting his future while giving fans a show. His comments reflect the balance between boxing tradition and real-life responsibility.
Trying to make it safer and, you know, all those sorts of things, but there's still this pureness to boxing that really doesn't exist in sports anymore, but it's still there with boxing. I think that's why people have such a problem with this kind of move from Tank Davis.
Is it more the heart? How do you guys feel being boxers?
Man, like, once you hear the numbers, I'm like, they're talking, like, I don't know the official one, they're talking about like 100 mil.
Oh, damn.
Like, they're talking about these insane numbers. Like, I'm gonna be like, don't take that. I'm not gonna tell another man not to take that type of check, especially for something like that. It's not on your official record. It's an exhibition. I'm not gonna lie here and act like I'm not gonna say yes to 100 million or something like that. But I do see exactly what you're saying about the essence of boxing. I wish they would kind of separate it a little more, because exhibitions have always been a thing. There's always been an argument.
Right.
But they're just selling it like a real fight almost.
Right.
So I think that maybe if we could create a better like distinction, more of a difference.
Right.
There might be less hate on it, but At the end of the day, man, I'm not gonna tell Tank not to take that fight.
And I said this last year. I said create a influencer title. And let those guys fight over there in the influencer world. They can live the world and the life of I'm a world champion without having to do something like this. Now, the issue for this that I have is you have a legitimate 135-pound champion fighter getting in the ring with that 190-pound guy, whatever it is that Jake Paul is at. So now we already let's really answer this.
On the other hand, many believe that despite all the excitement, the weight disparity makes this bout more spectacle than serious competition. Even promoters seem aware of this. Special safety measures, including a 195 pounds catch weight, bigger gloves, and exhibition status, exist specifically due to the danger. To critics, the real story isn't just size. It's that Davis has faced elite champions, while Paul's resume is still limited. They imagine Tank slipping inside, landing precise shots, and making Paul look awkward despite the weight advantage.
But about it, my question is, what's the rules? And like, are they gonna actually try and knock each other out? Because it's gonna be a glorified sparring match. I'm not watching. I don't give a fuck.
Jake's gonna have a hard time hitting him.
Yeah,
You know,
big time. Gervonta's so fast and skilled.
Gervonta's gonna eat his.
I thought
guts.
Jake was gonna fight Anthony Joshua. That seemed.
No, that
more,
was actually getting.
That is
sounded
the
more
craziest
interesting.
idea I've ever heard. Jake Paul trying to fight Anthony Joshua is, crazy.
Not a sanctioned professional bout. This means the fight will not count towards either fighter's professional records.
So it's still being finalized.
Yeah, I don't like that.
So what is so behind the scenes? You think there are things like, hey, we
Yes.
don't punch each other in the jaw?
Yep. Or don't go. We can punch in the face, but don't go for broke. Like, don't knock me out.
Really?
Yeah. It's an exhibition.
That's
so
not
they can
very
get away
interesting
with
to
it.
me.
No. Until I find the rule sets, but when I hear exhibition, I'm like, okay.
Jake is bodied up, man.
He's big.
Yeah,
Probably has 100 pounds on Gervonta.
maybe. I'd say Gervonta probably walks at 150.
Oh, he's so small.
He's so small. I mean, he's really small. Bring up Gervonta Davis next to Floyd Mayweather, because I've seen Floyd in person, and he's tiny. You've seen Floyd in person?
I've worked with Gervonta and Floyd.
Tiny.
Well, Floyd likely has shoes on there.
Oh, dude, he's so small.
He's tiny, guys.
Yeah. I mean, he's so small. Wow.
Chael Sonnen recently criticized Jake Paul for shifting attention from a potential fight with Anthony Joshua to a matchup with Gervonta Davis, calling it a disappointment compared to what was teased before. Sonnen argued that unlike Paul, Tank isn't naturally gifted at promotion or building hype. Davis prefers to let his fists speak for him in the ring, but he doesn't bring the same media machine Paul does. While Sonnen acknowledged Tank's elite ability, he believes the event's success relies more on Paul's promotional power than just the fight itself.
The exact opposite of Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul for 2. So the fight that was being dangled and rumored in front of us, the exact opposite has happened. The opposite of fighting Anthony Joshua is not fighting nobody. The opposite of fighting Anthony Joshua is fighting Tank Davis. Okay, so there's one big glaring issue for me. It's just your partner being Tank Davis. Tank is not the guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. It could be a title fight, a contenders fight, a main event fight. He could be the favorite, he could be the underdog. Tank doesn't know how to bring that information to you guys in a way that is compelling. And Tank is already blinking in this situation. You have one guy who is argued amongst the pound for pound current greats in boxing. You have another guy that has suggested he should not even be allowed to box, that he should have to call it something different. He should not be licensed. He should not be ranked in the top 14. He should never be selected for a world title. Okay. Now, Tank has one job to do, which is to let anybody know that's listening that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a...
Meanwhile, Davis's opinion of Jake Paul has clearly evolved. At first, he brushed Paul off as a loud internet personality and mocked his boxing claims, treating him like a sideshow. But as Paul committed to training, sharpened his skills and earned respect, Davis began to take notice. He has since acknowledged Paul's discipline, toughness, and seriousness. While Tank still doesn't see Paul as elite-level boxing talent, he now appears open to facing him, recognizing the massive audience Paul brings.
Wow. I know that Jake can't fight. He can't fight. So
would you look at it as a joke if your team was like, yo, we want you to fight Jake Paul? Would you be like,
yeah,
on, man?
I laugh at him. You want me to fight him? At first, I didn't like how Jake Paul was coming because of how he was making it look. But now that I see that, I feel as though he's still a clown because that's his personality. I'm starting to respect it because he's not doing it like for the hype. He was really like trying to be a boxer. I think that he's decent.
Yeah.
Like he's good. I mean, he's not good, but he's going that way.
Is he better than you thought he'd be?
Yeah.
Gotta be mentally tough to be in the box. So that's why I don't take that away from some fighters or some people that want to jump into the sport. So just show how tough you are. That's how it should be.
Especially after Paul's convincing win over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., respect for him in the boxing world has grown. The Anaheim card broke the venue's gate record, surpassing events headlined by established champions, proving his commercial draw. Legends like Oscar de la Hoya believe Paul is serious and capable of contending for real titles. Even Manny Pacquiao noted that regardless of opinions, Paul's dedication is clear. Analysts also praised his ring control and composure under pressure, boosting his technical credibility.
Alvarez fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. We promoted that fight many years ago. Didn't knock him out, couldn't hurt him. So imagine if Jake Paul can hurt or even wobble Chavez Jr. It's something that Canelo didn't do or couldn't do. So Jake Paul, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., it's a real fight. Yeah. Look, people keep talking about Jake Paul, well, he's not a real fighter, this and that. Well, he's fighting a real fighter now in Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. It's going to be a good test for both guys. Obviously, Jake Paul, he's a masterclass promoter in what he does. He's been doing some great things. I mean, Mike Tyson, 60 million people. Fighting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who, when he trains, when he gets in shape, when he's focused, he will be dangerous for anybody. Look, Canelo Alvarez fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. We promoted that fight many years ago. Didn't knock him out, couldn't hurt him. So imagine if Jake Paul can hurt or even wobble Chavez Jr. It's something that Canelo didn't do or couldn't do. So there's a lot of stories to come out from this, a lot of great stories for Jake Paul. So I just feel honored and proud that we can team up with MVP Promotions, with Jake Paul, and we can make Zurdo Ramirez with Torticos the mandatory. That's going to be a bloodbath in itself.
Jake Paul has publicly declared that the next phase of his boxing journey is just beginning, and this time he is targeting real boxers across multiple divisions. After beating Andre August, Paul announced that he is moving away from crossover and MMA-based matchups and focusing on traditional boxing opponents. In a CNN interview, he insisted he wants the toughest challenges, fights where he's an underdog and can prove himself. Across social platforms and media appearances, Paul continues to emphasize legacy over spectacle, aiming to earn true respect in the sport.
No, I want to fight them all, to be honest. I just need the time. So I probably will literally fight all of them. So they're all enticing.
However, the massive weight gap between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis was too large to ignore, and ultimately Georgia declined to approve the fight. Because of that ruling, Paul's team withdrew the permit request and moved the event to Miami. The situation shows how complex big exhibitions can be, with regulators prioritizing safety and fairness. For Davis, Georgia's refusal highlights lingering doubts surrounding the matchup. For Paul, moving the event fits his style, shifting headlines and fueling hype. The change influences fan perception, planning, and underscores how delicate boxing business negotiations can be.
No way in hell this fight was ever going to happen. And the fact that y'all believed it, I don't know, you're stupid. So Rick Thompson, chairman of the Georgia Athletic Commission, told USA Today Sports that Paul's promotion company withdrew its request for permits and a rule waiver, citing the 65-pound weight difference between the fighters. The Rick Thompson guy straight up said they've been promoting something they should not have been. Come on, guys, use your brains. Y'all boxing fans. fans, you understand this fight was never going to happen. This is the article from USA Today. It says the status of the proposed fight between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis under scrutiny because of the weight discrepancy between the two fighters. Rick Thompson is coming out and saying this stuff because he said he believes it's in the public's best interest to know that they've been promoting something they should not have been. Communications director for the Office of the Secretary of State told USA Today Sports the event will not be happening. But funny enough, tickets are still available. You could still purchase them online, and the fight is still listed on the State Farm Arena.
Critics argue that part of Jake Paul's rise comes from capitalizing on legends of previous eras. By pulling retired greats into the ring with big paychecks on the line, they say he risks damaging the sport's legacy. Even icons like Mike Tyson have been drawn back after long absences, exciting fans but raising legitimate safety concerns. Paul stepping into the ring with fighters far removed from their prime has sparked debates about respect, risk, and boxing's direction.
They're taking on Mike Tyson that's pushing 60 years old, for crying out loud, but at the same time pretending to be like this badass motherfucker, sending me DMs talking. He offered me a contract a long time ago, and I was like, what are you doing? I'm a retired fighter and I've got one eye. Why would I want to fight you? I wouldn't lower myself to doing that. I know a lot of people do that. They do lower themselves, if you want to say that, because of the payday, because Jake Paul is a big name. He is a social media sensation. He's a YouTube star. And now, of course, in the world of boxing, he's one of boxing's biggest stars because he puts on these spectacles like Paul versus Tyson, like Nate Diaz, because these are the fighters, these are the names that attract the eyes. Jake Paul is the B-side to almost every single one of his fights. When he fought Nate Diaz, people were tuning in for Nate Diaz. His last fight against Cesar Chavez Jr., apparently no one watched that fight. Apparently the pay-per-views were ridiculously low. So this one's going back to Netflix on November 14th, and it's an exhibition bout. Of course, it's an exhibition bout because no athletic commission in their right mind will sanction this fight. There's just no way you can make this a legitimate fight because of the size advantage. Typically, this will be very, very dangerous, and someone could get really hurt. If Jake Paul was to swing as hard as he could and connect and wobble him and hit him many, many times and not knock him out, with the bigger gloves and the concussion possibilities and the brain rattling around inside the head, and Jake Paul just teeing off at him as hard as he could, it's dangerous. That's why fights like this can't get sanctioned. That's why this is a exhibition bout and not a real matchup. Now listen, they're both going to get paid tremendously. They're going to make a ton of money, and a lot of people are going to tune in and watch it on Netflix.
Ultimately, the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis storyline shows how thin the line between sport and entertainment has become. Some see a mismatch, others see smart business, a massive payday, global attention, and fresh platforms for both fighters. Between the weight gap, the venue switch, the marketing strategies, and the questions about legitimacy, controversy will follow this fight regardless. But the real intrigue is how both men handle pressure, public perception, and the aftermath. Whether remembered as a boxing circus or a turning point in crossover combat sports, its impact will be felt long after the final bell.
Optically, visually, seeing that go viral, and I mean go viral, and Jake Paul will never hear the end of it.
Help you up. We're going to go ahead and help you up. We're going to see about it. Help you up. We're going to see.
Because Gervonta Tank Davis is not only a real boxer, he's a real boy. He's 5'5". He's a lightweight. Skills pay the bills. Let him knock out Jake Paul, give him Bambi legs, or knock him down. Gervonta Tank Davis, that moment will go viral, and he will be a far bigger, well-known boxer than he is today, and he will also be a hero. And that's the Black Two Sugars. That you guys don't want to admit it. Don't bull jive.
So what's your take? Is this matchup exciting or too one-sided to respect? Drop your thoughts in the comments.